right, hello, Happy New Year, and how the hell are you guys? Happy New Year. Kenny, it's already end of January, early February. What are you talking about? Yes, I know, it's been quite a while since I last uploaded a video once again.
It's been 84 years.
But the holidays were a very busy time for me between all the shopping, visiting family, making time for friends as well, getting back to all your lovely comments and questions. Then I got to get a haircut, and then I got sick.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
All right, enough with my excuses and my life story. I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear it. Let's get into the painting. Now, it's been very, very cold, at least in my opinion. Winter time, it's not a good time for me personally. Don't like it, but I love painting it. It's still quite cold out, so I figured why not do a winter landscape. Now, I already have the thin coat of liquid first white on there. I call it slick white. You may be using magic white, liquid white, whatever. Just make sure that's a very thin coat. Yes, we have a very thin coat on our canvas right now, and it's more slippery than a used car salesman. So we put that on first before we put on our much thicker paint, and make sure it glides all the way through. I'm going to go into some yellow ochre first, right there. And I just want a little bit of warmth in our winter sky. It's so cold out. I need some hope of some warm weather, and I'm just gonna, let's see, put it right here. So small. I only want a hint of it. And really, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that same 1-inch brush onto a shop towel. I highly recommend shop towels as well. Use paper towels if you need to, but the shop towels work much, much better. They absorb a lot of that oil paint, because that's what we are using today. And now, with that hint of yellow ochre, I'm gonna go into some Alizarin Crimson and put it right above that. Yeah, that's good. And I'm not gonna have much, just want a hint. It's gonna be mostly a blue sky, which I'm gonna move on to next. And once again, I'm really sorry for taking forever to come out with a video. We're gonna go into French ultramarine blue right here. I didn't even set up my backdrop. My backdrop's not set up, guys. Hopefully you forgive me, and I just wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. I know you've all been waiting, so I hope that's okay.
No.
Oh yeah, and in my rush to get a painting done, I forgot to tell you, of course, as always, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. I promise I have tons of tutorials in my mind that I want to put out there, and when you hit the notification bell, you won't miss out. So make sure you do that, and now we'll go into our French ultramarine blue. And you know what? I want that color to be a little bit more interesting, so I'm going to mix some black with it. Yeah. Just a bit. And there we go. I'm using these X strokes like that. I'm going down from like 11 o'clock down to 4 o'clock, and then 2 down to 8, I think. But don't think about it too much, and it helps if you do this fast. Like that. Yeah. And we're using the 2-inch brush for this, or 2.5-inch brush in my case. All right. Don't cover up that warmth. Just try to touch it on the edge and leave it be. All right. Now we have that blue and black color up in the sky. We're going to put it down here too, and I'm going to hold the brush vertically like this now and go from left to right. And since I'm starting on the left side, there we go. And we need some color down here because, well, we're going to add some snow, and this will add the color underneath to make that snow look like shadows. Otherwise, if we just take the white color onto white color, we're not going to see it. So from the right, just right to left, and trying to keep those strokes horizontal while holding the brush vertical. There we go. And maybe not all this will be snow. Some of it will be water, or maybe it's ice. It depends on how cold it is. I hope it's water. If it was ice, it would be much, much colder. There we go. And now you can either take the same 2-inch brush and give it a good cleaning with just the shop towel, or take a totally new, unused 2-inch brush if you want to. And we're gonna just blend this out, blend all the streaks out a bit. Just get all the excess color off as much as possible. And then starting from the lightest colors first, and very gently, we're just gonna go over it to blend it. Yeah, there we are. You don't want a firm pressure here. We're just trying to get rid of the brush strokes. There we are. And just blend all that harshness away.
Huh, seems legit.
And it would be a good time to get all that extra excess paint off your 2-inch brush again, so... Well, like I said, shop towels, make friends with them. Now you can put your 2-inch brush down for now. We're not going to need it for a second. Now let's go into a clean 1-inch brush and load some white, titanium white, like this. Pull that brush in one direction like that. Round out that edge, and let's make some clouds. It is a winter sky after all. All I'm doing is taking that brush up into the sky and making circles.
It's a circle.
Actually, here's a tip. You can also go into a little bit of that thin first coat white that we coated the canvas with in the beginning and thin it out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And that can make the paint stick a little better onto the canvas. So, there we are. Let's get more paint. And always load it the same way, trying to round out that edge. And I'll just put as many clouds as I see fit into the sky, making those little circles. So I really hope all of you had a nice holiday, a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus. And hey, you know, if you don't celebrate any of those things, I really just hope that 2022 was a good year for all of you. And either way, I hope 2023 is even better. Right. Now I'm going over the blue first before I go over our color in the sky here. All right. I'll put a little bit more up top. I do want some of that dark to show in contrast. So like I said, you put as many clouds in the sky as you want. Make sure that when you do this, you spin that brush fast. It really works a lot better if you do it fast. Now let's take that 2-inch brush we had and just using the corner on the bottom of the clouds we made very lightly, very, very lightly. You can barely even hear it on the canvas. Blend that out. Just on the bottom here and there, on some of those clouds. Because we made so many, it's all right if you don't get the bottom of all of them. But what we do have to do is fluff out the top. And I'm using the other corner and kind of just making like circular or check marks like this. There's so many clouds in the sky. Again, you really don't have to get them all. And even more of a lighter touch, we'll just go over the whole thing left to right like that. Very soft, very whispery. There we go.
Not bad.
Now, what would be a winter scene without some nice mountains up top? I'm going to make some nice big snowy mountains, but first we got to make a base color for those mountains. So I'm going to take some of our French ultramarine. I guess I'll put it right there. Some of our Phthalo Blue too. A little bit of Alizarin Crimson, why the hell not? And mix a good chunk of that. And this is step 1.
2 hours later.
And even a touch of black, why the hell not? The color should actually look black, but really it's predominantly blue. Just mix it to your liking. I'll put in some more Alizarin Crimson. And that's certainly enough paint. So let's give it a try. What we do now that we have our base color is we flatten it out down like that. Actually, let me wipe the knife. Having too much paint on the knife is actually a bad thing. So make sure you wipe it a lot on those shop towels. Now, since we already pulled that paint down flat, we cut a roll of it like this. Some people go like that. I do it like this so you guys can see. So with that roll of paint, very firmly, you're going to pick where you want that first mountain to be. So I'm just going to go maybe right over here and up like that. Not really thinking about it too much. And maybe it just trails off the canvas because the mountain is so big. Scrape, pull it down again, get yourself a roll of paint because we need a little bit more. All right. Wipe off the excess from the knife once again and just scrape off what you got on there. Now I will take that 2-inch brush and get rid of even more excess paint, but instead of going like this, I'm going to line it up with the top edge, and that ensures that I don't go over that nice edge I made for my mountain. See, like that. There we go. And I'll do the same with the top one here. Go down and just slide off. And I'll go the opposite way this way. Because at the same time, I'm making these angles with my mountain. All these mountain slopes, so I know where they are. It's a great way to plan it out. Because if you decide you don't like how it's looking, you just go back and change it up again. See? And there we are. Now to add some snow in this mountain, pull out the white, nice and flat like that, and we'll wipe off the excess and get a nice thick roll of paint like that, and go up to the smaller one, and down we go, and there that paint breaks.
I have several questions.
All right, I'll go a little slower. So we have our mountain base. We know where all the slopes are going to be. And so we take a chunk of that titanium white, spread it out as flat as you can, and cut off our roll of paint like that. So once again, it helps to hold the knife if you're starting out with just 2 fingers. I kind of use the whole hand because I got used to it. But try using 2 fingers and hold the knife up towards the canvas around a 45-degree angle. And that roll of paint should really be the only thing that sticks to your canvas. Once you feel it stick, then it's time to just move and glide the knife down. There we are.
I get it. I don't get it.
And now, if you're still having trouble, I do go into a more in-depth tutorial on my channel here, which you can find by clicking on the upper right-hand corner. So for those of you having trouble, all you got to know is that you just got to take your time with it and practice. And you'll find after every highlight, it helps to wipe your knife before you go back and start again. And yes, I know it could be frustrating for some of you, and you're just still not getting it. It feels like you'll just almost never get it. But I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it too. I remember when I first started painting, and it was so frustrating. I was more mad than a one-legged waitress working at IHOP. So we'll just continue to add where we think the highlights should go. The highlighty snow. Yeah. You run out of paint, you just go back to that spot and continue. There we are. And you might have to flatten some paint out again, a little bit more, but that is okay, because you know how to do it. There we go. All right, just gonna add a touch more snow on this side. That's very easy to do. Now, we have our snow. What about some snowy shadows? Well, you do that by creating a mix of our white and some phthalo blue. Be very careful with this phthalo blue. You don't want to make it too blue. It's very powerful. But I'm going to say that's good enough. I don't want it any more blue than that. Now that we have the color that we've decided on, again, flatten it out the same way we've been doing and grab a roll of paint. And now instead of going this way, we'll go the opposite way, and we'll get this little tiny spot right here. I suggest you do too, so you know what it's like before we go into the bigger area. Really, I'm just touching that paint onto the canvas. Notice I said the paint and not the knife. The knife doesn't really even touch what's going on here. See? So more color again. Can do better than that. Okay. Roll of paint. Here we go. And this peak, go down this way and follow through. Okay, wipe the knife. And we still got more gaps to fill in, so we'll go up here, sneak into this little area. And when you run out of paint, of course, just get more. Get another roll and go to town. Nice, right?
Absolutely perfect.
Now we'll take this 2-inch brush and just tap the bottom out right here. This is just going to blend that bottom, make it look all misty. I'm going to turn the brush this way and follow the angle because it's going this way now. And very lightly lift it. If it's coming down this way, I'm going to go the opposite end, which means I'm going to go this way for this spot. And that also leaves us the freedom to do whatever we want here when we get to it. But you know what? Making that mountain was so fun that I'm gonna do it again. This painting needs another mountain right next to it. So what did we do? Well, first, go into that base color, flatten it out, get a roll of paint, looks just like that, and go right up here. Maybe this one is a little bit more steep. And even crosses this one. You can do that if you want. But the fact that we put it in front of there pushes that mountain back, the first one we made. And that's okay, because when it comes to painting, we paint what's furthest away first.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
And as we know, we have to scrape that excess paint away. It's literally the same steps we did to make the first one. So now that we know how to do it, just going a little bit faster. There we are. Now, if you guys got anything really cool for Christmas, comment below, especially if it's art related. I'd love to know what you got. Tell me how your holidays were. If you got anything really cool. I got a muscle building kit. I'm still trying to get the box open. All right, next year I'll ask for a joke book. So, going back up here, and there we go. We run out of paint because this mountain is so big, but that's all right. We just go into more paint and pick up where we want. It's a lot of snow, lots and lots of snow. And we're gonna need more of this titanium white too for all the land that we're gonna add in the foreground. So I hope I laid out enough paint. Very gently. Once again, as soon as you feel that roll of paint stick, and you will feel it stick if your paint is thick enough. Got to use a thick paint here. I always leave in the description what colors I use. You can find the brand name I have under there too. Always been using the same brand of paint. Now in this instance, a little bit more blue got mixed into that snow than I would care to prefer, but that's okay. We just go into more white and go over it on the top. See? So also give your paint a lot of texture. So you got that. We'll go into our shadow color now. Start working on that. Really flat. Okay. And go right down here. Where the shadow meets the main highlight. All right. And up here too. Can't forget about this side. And now, in my case, if you decided that you want to fix anything, like me for example, I'll just go into the regular white and add a tiny bit up here. because I think there should be. Still catching some light. And then we'll just go back into the shadow color. Get a roll of paint and fill in this tiny, tiny, tiny gap. Two-inch brush, right? Tap out the bottom. Maybe we need to clean off the excess paint a little more. That might be a good idea.
Hours later.
Might be faster just to use a clean 2-inch brush or fully clean this with your solvent, your thinner, whatever you got, and then do it. And lift ever so gently. And there's our 2 ground mountains.
Wow.
Now what I think this painting needs next is some trees. I'm gonna go into some titanium white right here. Mix it a little with that blue and black color we had. Yeah. I'll use a number 6 fan brush, and I'll just hold the brush vertically for some background trees right here. And maybe I'll start like this. And that's all I'm doing on the canvas, is just going, keeping it vertically, keeping the brush vertically like that, but lining up the trees horizontally, I should say. And make sure you're making them nice and close together. And bingo, hundreds of trees made in just such a short amount of time. But what's kind of funny with those trees just sitting there in the back, and they don't have a lot of detail. So let's make trees with a lot of detail and put it right in front of there. Clean our number 6 fan brush off with shop towels once again, and push all these background trees back. And we do that by going into the dark color now. Same color we made for the base of those mountains, which you can't even tell is there anymore. And we decide where I want my first tree, about right here. And I've marked where I want the first one, so I'll just use the corner now. Start from somewhere by the top and just go back and forth, left to right with just the corner, or at least starting out with the corner, because now what's going to happen is, as that tree gets bigger and bigger as we go down, we can use more of that fan brush. See? In my haste to make trees, what I forgot to do was missed out the bottom of this. And we've only made one tree, so this will be fine. It's good when I make a mistake, because if you so happen to make a mistake, I can show you how to fix it. So you've made that tree there, we'll make another one a little bit taller right there. And again, and just like that. Not much detail yet, but as we go down, more and more of that corner will, in fact, be used. There we are. Each time you make a new tree, just make sure they're not all the same size. It makes it more interesting. and go into more paint. Again, the trick is just using mostly the corner. More paint, and how about a tree right here? Just kind of goes up above past that mountain. And as we work our way down, I will use more of the corner. And again, I go into a very detailed tutorial on my channel here. And if you'd like to see that, you click on the upper right hand corner. Still using the same size fan brush and whatnot. But I love making trees. And the first video I made, the first tutorial I made on how to paint trees, gets the most comments and actually is my most highly rated video on this channel. So it's worth checking out. And a lot of you who have been there have left the most comments on it. And I really, really do appreciate the lovely feedback. I'm not kidding. It makes me, and motivates me, I should say, to just make more tutorials and more paintings to just for all of us to paint along to, just like this. There's another one. I will simply just keep going. And I'm really trying to make them all not the same size. There's one big one right here. How about that? Just makes it more interesting. Just like Mother Nature is in real life. She is unpredictable. And right now, out in the cold, she's not playing around. That's why I'm inside. Okay, that's our biggest tree yet. How about another one?
Another one.
Okay, let's do it. So let's go here. We make the mark vertically where we want it, and just the corner, left to right, only a tiny, tiny bit until we start getting towards the middle, and then we can use more of the brush. And I'll put, how about just one more on the side of the canvas to finish it out. No, I lied. Let's cover up my little mistake right here and add a small one. And we can set those background trees a little bit further. See? Now, it'd be really cool if these trees were reflecting down into our water or our ice. So the great thing about making reflections is you don't have to go that crazy with them, I promise you. I'm making vague estimates about where these trees are reflecting down. See? Not worrying about it too much. And since we pushed down with our corner there, it would only make sense if the leaves reflecting would push up. So I'm going to push up with the corner a little bit like that. And there we go. I'll do a big one so you can see it better. Let's do the biggest one right here. So corner, a little bit that way, left to right, and more of the brush, but pushing up this time. See? There we go. Makes sense, right?
Well, that makes sense.
And I'll just go ahead and do that to all the reflections right now. Just pushing up. Another reason you don't want to get too particular with the detail and the reflections is because we're gonna, don't know how to explain it. I will just show you, actually. We'll decide where these trees end and just very lightly with that 2-inch brush, just line it up and go like that. This is a very, very light touch. And now, tap that out a little on some shop towels and just go from left to the right. There we go. See?
Wait. What sorcery is this?
Now, since this is a winter scene, I'm going to add some snow onto those branches. I'm going to do that by wiping the excess paint off of our number 6 fan brush. I'm going to get as much off as I can. Your fan brush should look like this. You know, it's still got a lot of that dark color on there, but that's all right, as long as most of it's off. I'm going to go into some of the slick white because that paint is much, much thinner. And I'm going to go into a little bit of that mountain shadow color we made with the Phthalo Blue. You can see that paint, that consistency is much, much looser. And I'll go over not all the branches, but some. And our light's coming from this way, so I will focus more on the right side of those trees. And just using that corner again. So this is detail work now. The snow has settled in, which is fine because at least in this painting, I'm painting the snow and I don't actually have to shovel it. It's one of the reasons why I hate the winter, shoveling snow. And you can go grab more of that thin white if you need to. And the same thing again. And you don't want to do every single branch, but just enough. Because the dark showing through is what actually shows that there's trees there and not necessarily the highlights. So even if you want to do like every other branch, that's okay. Okay, and we have that down here in the water a little bit, right? Don't worry about too much detail. That's okay. And once again, down very gently. If you don't go gently, you'll lose those reflections. So while we have that loose, slick white aside here, I'm going to go into a little bit more mixture with the regular titanium white. And decide where a landmass is going to exist. Like right there. I'm just mapping it out first. And I decide to do that with the fan brush first. In case I don't like it, I can fix it before I do this. Go into some thick paint. And just go over what we did. And that's our landmass. Right there. It's all right if a lot of blue mixes in there because this will be in the shadow. And any of that paint that you have still left over can just go over there where the land meets the water.
nice.
You decide if that's too dark for you. Oh, you just grab some more white and go over it. See? All right, folks, so since we're halfway through, now's the time to show you all the paintings that you've sent in. Now, first, we got two paintings here from Mr. Glenn Woodington. Glenn, I love the colors in your sky here. Beautiful choices. And here's the next one from Glenn, an autumn season landscape with lots of trees and colors. Great work. And this one is from my buddy Zach on Instagram. In his words, a nighttime winter scene. I love the bold choice of using a black canvas. Those are really fun to do.
Nice, very nice.
So yeah, folks, if you want to send in pictures of your work to feature on the next episode, I'd be very happy to. It's not just about me, it's about all of us artists. The world deserves to see your work, and you deserve to show them off. Now, what shall I do next? Give me a moment. Let me just think, because when I paint, I like to just feel things out and be unpredictable with what I do next.
2 weeks later. Tomorrow for sure.
Ah, I know. How about some more of these trees? Well, hey, if you're already tired of the trees, if you think there's so many in there, don't want to watch me paint anymore, you can just skip this part.
Go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
So yeah, I just made some more trees on the other side, quite literally the same way we did over there, folks. The only difference I'm going to do now is with that first coat of slick white, that's all I'm going to use, just a pure white, to add some highlights to this tree. And I think these trees are a little closer, so the snowy highlights will look a little brighter. There we are. And again, this adds a little bit more depth in our paintings. As the snow gets closer to you, it has less color. It maintains a pure white. And there we are. A little bit there and a little bit here and there. Same thing. Now what we can do different here as well on this side is put a big landmass where these trees are sitting. And we do that by going into our pure titanium white with the biggest brush we have, your 2-inch brush right there. There we are. Get a lot of paint on that. There we go. Even more maybe. That's right. And just grab the very bottom. And it's okay if some of that color comes off with it. It'll add some shadow. And there is our landmass. See? And you can decide if you want that landmass a little bigger. Just go into more paint and make it bigger if you want to. You can change its shape.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Ugh! Get it away from me, man!
So now there's a reason why we actually had the burnt umber here that I told you to get out. And that's why I always put the description of the colors in the beginning of the video, so you know what we're going to use today. And there should be a landmass down right here.
This is really boring. You really need to up the energy level. I'm getting sick of this.
And to make it more interesting, let's go back into that white with our 2-inch brush. Maybe that landmass comes right over there. A good touch of Alizarin Crimson and that blue. Just a touch. And I'll mix it right on the palette right here. And we'll go over. There we go. And what that does is, since we mixed a bit of that brown in the snow, which we don't want, or at least I don't want, that just goes ahead and fixes it. And then can go back into that burnt umber, and the landmass comes out like this. It doesn't have to be totally straight. Can go up there like that a little. But that layer of snow just lays right on top of it. And then again, with more white, a little bit of that color will make more land. There we are. See? You need a lot of paint on your brush in order to achieve that effect. Go over here again. And if you would like, clean off that knife. Get a roll of paint, and you can just go over the edge like that. And that just fixes it up. This is very close to you, so you want that snow to be as bright and as white as possible. Now you can take a clean 1-inch brush, just go down a little bit. Grab some of that land, just go down a little bit. Then left to right, or right to left, I should say. Very gently. We had such little paint on that 1-inch brush, you can just go ahead and wipe it off on a shop towel. Grab a little bit of white and just put it under there. Now these snowy hills that you made are just reflecting down in the water. See?
Wow.
I just want to add more contrast on the top part of the hill and go with the knife like that. And we can see that better as it lays against the water or the ice. And that's great when you get towards the end of a painting. You can see what needs to be fixed or what you want to touch up on. There we are. And I'll just smooth this out a little bit more. And you spend as much time as you want perfecting your painting. Now, last but not least, I'll go ahead and clean all that thick white paint off my knife. Grab what's left in this cup of the slick white I have in here. Now, I have it in here like this because it makes it easier than to just, you know, keep the can open and have it all dried up. So just get some on the edge of your knife like that. It's just on the top. And back and forth where the land meets the water. And there you are. Fix up any edges. Wipe the knife again. It's really just a game of going back and forth, really. There we go, that's better. One day I'm going to do a whole painting with just the knife, so for those of you watching, practice makes perfect. I'd highly recommend this painting if that'd be something you're interested in. You got to get comfortable and you got to get really familiar with the knife. Well, folks, I hope you all enjoyed painting along with me. What did you think?
2 thumbs down.
Okay, well, for those of you that did enjoy the painting, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons once again, and be sure to share the channel as well. I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. So for those of you who have been with me for a while, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate all your feedback and all the kind words.
I'm glad you came along, partner.
And right now, I think I'm going to go take a hot bath. I'm getting cold just looking at this thing. So, till next time, keep your dreams high and your pompadours in the sky. Let's paint together.